Will found a dead body in an open area. The man had been shot in the back. When he turned him over, he saw the star on the man's black vest. The sheriff's horse was nowhere to be found. Will had no choice but to bury the body there. He looked through the sheriff's pockets. There was some money in one of the pockets. He didn't want the dead man's money. He found a piece of paper with the 10 Commandments neatly written on it. He put it into his own pocket. He also found a letter addressed to a woman in a town about 3 days away. He decided to take it personally to the woman. Then he buried the sheriff with his gun and holster beside him. Later that day, he was stopped by a couple of deputies that were riding with some other men. They asked him about the body of the dead sheriff. They had dug it up and wrapped it so it could be buried in town. Will told them the truth. He had found the body and buried it because he had no second horse to transport it. The deputies could see that he had only one horse. They already knew the sheriff's gun and money were not taken. Will showed them the letter and said he would personally deliver it so that he could tell the woman the man was dead. The deputies decided to let Will go his way. Will journeyed 3 days to get to the town addressed on the letter. He didn't ask about the woman at first. He wanted to check the town and see if he could find her by himself. Eventually he had to ask and was told she was a teacher at the school. He went to her house and delivered the letter, explaining that the man who wrote it was dead. He didn't have any other information about the man other than he was a sheriff, so he excused himself and left her. Will was about to leave town the next day. The woman came up to him and said, "Thank you for coming out here to give me the letter and explaining. The letter was from my father. We had not seen each other for close to 20 years. He left me when the law came looking for him. It's ironic that he became a sheriff, if he did. For all I know, he was posing as a sheriff. A single letter doesn't make up for 20 years. Will knew nothing more to tell her about her father. Then he remembered the paper with the 10 Commandments written on it. He said, "I also found this on his body." He took out the paper and gave it to her. She stared at it a long time, and tears began to fall from her eyes. After a long while, she said, "The day my father said he had to go, I wrote down these 10 Commandments as I remember my mother telling them to me. She had already died by this time. I gave the paper I wrote them on to my father as a testament against him and his being an outlaw. However, this is not the same paper. He must have rewritten the words, but he printed them as if with my hands. They have the same look. By the formation of some of the letters, I think he must have rewritten these more than once. My paper must have worn away a long time ago." I listened, but could not think of anything to say. I told her she could keep the paper, but she returned it to me saying, "I think he would want you to have it." I didn't think much about what her words meant, beyond being a way to politely refuse a gift. I put the paper back into my pocket, wished her well, and left town. At my campsite that evening, her words kept being repeated in my mind. I figured their meaning was something I would find out more about in my days ahead. The Magi followed the star, Gentiles invited to an event, the birth of the Holy Christ child, the Savior Lord by the Father sent.